Hey, happy people of the internet. Welcome back to Cooking with Chelsey. Here we are in my kitchen and today we are making ground beef mix. So this is what it's gonna look like. It's delicious and it smells so good. Let's jump right into it. Let's get down to it and actually make it. We've got garlic powder and salt. We've got ground beef and we've got chopped onions. If you're not eating beef, if you're eating chicken or pork or turkey or a meat substitute, you can substitute that here instead of the ground beef. I am a meat and potatoes, beef kind of person. That's what we ate a lot of in my family, and I still love a good ground beef. And this is really versatile. Like I said, you can substitute any meat product that you prefer, but this meat is great. I've made it a few times. It's nice to have it in the fridge. If you're making a soup or a stew or taco salad or anything like that, it's got basic flavors. Like I said, we've just got onion, garlic, salt, and pepper, but then you can add whatever you want on top of that or throw it into a pre-made sauce or soup. So we're gonna get right into it. I've already got everything pre-cut up and pre-measured because you don't need to see me crying while I chop onions, and I really do cry. I don't know, I'm a girl who used to eat raw onions as a kid. I still love them, I put them in everything, but when I chop them, I'm bawling like a little baby. So I've done that so you don't need to see it because we don't need to see my mascara running. So we're gonna start right away. We've got the wok. If you've got a big pan, it depends also. With these recipes, it's great with the master mix, with the ground beef mix, with the tomato sauce mix. If you want to double it or triple it, or only do a half recipe, they're really easy to scale to what you want. So I've got the onions already chopped. I'm just using a basic white or yellow onion. Again, as you prefer, your flavor or what kind of onions are available for you. And then I've got our delicious ground beef here. So I'm just gonna throw that all in. And I'm gonna put it on our stove here. And we're gonna go nice and hot to start. And we're just gonna cook it all up until the ground beef and the onions are browned. So we'll come back in a second and I'll show you how it's looking. As you can hear, we're starting to get a nice little sizzle here in the pan, starting to heat up. I didn't add any extra oil or anything like that because there's still all the fat from the ground beef. If you're using a leaner meat, like turkey or something that dries out a lot faster, you might want to put a little bit of oil in the pan just so it doesn't stick or dry out. But ground beef, this is quite nicely marbled, this ground beef that I have, so it's gonna have enough fat that nothing's gonna stick. And you can just see it's starting to, well, it's starting to get a little bit gray anyways, and starting to cook a little bit. We're just gonna let it brown up a bit here. And while it may not seem, you kind of think like, oh, well, it's easy enough to just go buy beef and make it when you need it. It does actually save time to have it pre-made, pre-cooked, ready in the freezer or in the fridge if you know you've got a busy week coming up, if you're into meal prep. So we're getting there. You can see it's cooking up really nicely. The onions are starting to get a little bit tender. Smells delicious. And it's quite juicy, this one. So I'm just gonna let it cook a little bit longer until it gets nice and browned up. It's nice and steamy. Bring it over here for a second. So everything is cooking up really nice. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put in the salt and the garlic powder. Just sprinkle that around. And we're gonna add some ground pepper. I don't really measure ground pepper. I like quite a bit of pepper. And mix that up. And I'm gonna turn down the temperature and just cook that up a little bit longer just to let everything kind of marinate while it finishes cooking. At this point, if you've got a specific purpose in mind and you want it to have a different flavor, add your own spices or anything else that you would like. Another good thing that this recipe is for is if you happen to have gone to the shop and then you forget that you've got some ground beef in your fridge, or you find ground beef that's on offer because it's going to expire in a few days, this is a great way if you see it and you want to buy it, saving money, but you don't know what you want to do with it yet. It's a great way to just have it cooked up and in the freezer, and then when inspiration comes to you, you've already got it ready. And it really does save a lot of time. If all of a sudden you decide you want to make something new for dinner, or you're going to have guests over or something like that, it really is good to have all these mixes ready. They're easy to have in the fridge or the freezer, and just pop something in the oven right away and have delicious food for your guests or to take to a party or something like that. It really does help, I'm telling you. So about now, everything is cooked and looking delicious. I'm gonna say that's where I'm gonna leave it. I'm just gonna let it cool down. Ooh. Is beef steam a good thing for your face? I don't know. Smells delicious. Let me get out of the steam zone here. Put that over there. So once the beef is all cooled down, then you can portion it. If you know which kind of recipes you already like, then you can portion it into the portions that you're gonna need and freeze it or keep it in the fridge. It'll keep for a few days in the fridge, but I would recommend freezing it if you don't have an exact plan for it in the next few days. So I'm just gonna let it cool down and then we'll go from there. So the beef has cooled down, I've portioned it out. This is ready to make the beef roll-ups, which is one of the recipes from the book and it's gonna be one of our other videos. This one's ready to go in the freezer. I'm just gonna put a label on it saying the date and what it is, and that's gonna stay in the freezer for a while until I need it. So thanks for joining us. Stay tuned for more videos on what you can do with the beef mix and or veggie or turkey or pork, whatever you are choosing to use as your ground meat or meat substitute. Let me know in the comments what you like to do with your ground beef mixes, and like and subscribe. And also don't forget that the description and the ingredients and measurements and everything will be in the description of the video, not in the comments. Thanks for joining me. Have a great day. Ciao.